In a remote sector of the galaxy, the Korthax Dominion's flagship, the Infinite Stride, floated in space like a fortress of dark metal and glowing energy fields. The Dominion was at war with a relentless enemy, the Durack Swarm, and this flagship was their crown jewel, an engineering marvel that symbolized Korthax's might. But now, it lay wounded, its main power core damaged after a surprise Durack's ambush. As repair drones and engineers scrambled, Supreme General Zarkale of the Korthax Dominion looked on with growing despair. Commander Larko's report, barked Zarkale, his voice sharp. Our best engineer, Arak Tull, is working with the team to get us back online, Larko's replied. But he says it could take hours, perhaps longer. Zarkale's alien features twisted into a snarl. They didn't have hours. Each passing second left them vulnerable to the swarm's attack. Standing nearby, a human engineer in a standard-issue jumpsuit waited patiently. This was Lieutenant Nathan Greene, a recent addition to the Korthax ranks through a unique alliance between humanity and the Dominion. Zarkale had been skeptical of the humans' engineering skills. Compared to Korthax's precision and centuries of technological superiority, humans were crude and simple. But desperate times called for desperate measures. Nathan, the general's voice dripped with disdain. You're supposed to be an engineer, are you not? Yes, sir, Nathan replied, standing at attention. Zarkale waved a clawed hand in irritation. Our finest engineers are stalling. If you think your primitive methods can somehow accelerate this repair, then have at it. 10 minutes. Nathan's grin barely hid the thrill he felt. He had been observing Korthax technology since he arrived and was secretly impressed with its sophistication. But Korthax engineers were meticulous to a fault, focused on maintaining perfection even in emergencies. Nathan, like most humans, had been raised to think on his feet. Got it, General? Just give me access to the engine core, and well, maybe a fire extinguisher. Several Korthax officers exchanged horrified glances, unsure whether he was serious or completely insane. But Zarkale, eager to see the results, pointed him toward the power core chamber. Nathan jogged to the heart of the engine room, where a sprawling array of glowing circuitry and shimmering power conduits crackled with the faintest sign of energy. Arak Tull, the chief Korthax engineer, scowled as Nathan approached, looking the human up and down with a skeptical glare. Human, this is no place for improvisation, Arak spat. This is an intricate, precise machine. Nathan nodded politely, glancing over the complex network of circuitry. No offense, but you guys are working way too slow for a crisis like this. I've been studying this core. There are ways to bypass the faulty relays and reroute energy directly through the conduits. It won't be perfect, but it'll get the core stable enough to jump away from here. Arak's eyes widened, caught off guard by the audacity. But he sneered, backing away. Fine, prove it, if you dare. With quick movements, Nathan grabbed his tools, cutting into a panel to access the core's internal circuitry. Sparks flew as he worked, his hands moving in a blur as he used a mix of Korthax and human tools. The Korthax engineers watched, appalled and fascinated as he bypassed intricate safety protocols, quickly patching power lines together and reprogramming the main console to streamline the power flow. Minutes passed, with Korthax officers watching the core monitor in disbelief as power levels steadily increased. The entire engine room buzzed with anticipation, all eyes on the human as he worked against the clock. Finally, with one last twist of his tool, Nathan flipped a switch, and the engine hummed to life. The core emitted a steady glow, and the power level stabilized, displayed in green across the screens. It's done, Nathan announced, wiping his brow. She's ready for warp. General Zarkale and his officers could only stare. What should have taken hours, perhaps days, had been accomplished in mere minutes. Arak Tull's jaw dropped, his pride melting away as he took in the human's handiwork. I'm impossible, he stammered. No Korthax engineer would dare attempt such reckless methods. Reckless? Sure. Effective? Absolutely, Nathan replied with a grin. Zarkale's face softened with reluctant respect as he regarded the human. Impressive work, Lieutenant Greene. I did not believe a human could accomplish what our finest engineer could not. Nathan gave a humble nod. Sometimes you just have to know what to cut corners on, General. In my world, it's called the art of getting by. Zarkale was silent, absorbing this lesson. The Korthax prided themselves on perfection. Yet this human had shown them that adaptability could be just as powerful. As the ship surged forward, away from the Durack swarm, the Supreme General realized the value of humans in his ranks, their ability to think outside the confines of tradition. Lieutenant, Zarkale said, his voice softer, perhaps there is wisdom in your approach after all. Nathan chuckled, clasping his toolkit. Happy to help, General. Just wait until you see what else we humans can do. As the infinite stride powered through space, leaving the battlefield behind, the Korthax generals exchanged glances, the air filled with a new respect for their human ally. They had learned more than just repair techniques that day. They had glimpsed humanity's unique spirit, and for the first time, they were left truly speechless.